Human beings once believed that death was an unavoidable destiny, and yet, in the middle of the ocean, there exist creatures that seem to defy that very law. From ancient emperors searching for elixirs of immortality, to alchemists pursuing mythical stones, to today's modern laboratories and technology billionaires, the desire to live forever has never faded. But nature has quietly preserved immortality secrets in the deep sea. Galapagos tortoises can surpass a century and a half. Greenland sharks live up to 4 centuries. Black corals endure for 4,000 years. And the jellyfish Turritopsis can reset its own life cycle. While humans pour effort into anti-aging research, these creatures simplify the equation, either living so slowly that damage barely accumulates, or reprogramming their very bodies to avoid aging. They overturn the linear model of birth, growth, aging, death that we take for granted. So, what is the true secret behind longevity? Cancer-suppressing genes, DNA repair mechanisms, ultra-slow life rhythms, or some completely different biological strategy we have yet to fully understand? Let us begin the journey into nature's handbook of longevity. The giant Galapagos tortoise, a biological shield. Nearly 5 centuries ago, Fray Tomás de Berlanga, the Bishop of Panama, was blown off course by a storm and drifted to the Galapagos Islands. He recorded the harsh landscapes, towering cacti, and giant shelled tortoises unlike anything seen before. From that moment, the Galapagos tortoise became a symbol. They can live well over a century, with many individuals surpassing 150 years, moving so slowly that time itself seems unable to touch them. It was not until the early 2010s that science began to uncover their secret. In 2022, the largest ever study on reptile and amphibian longevity examined more than 77 species. The results showed that tortoises, crocodiles, and salamanders age at an exceptionally low rate. Beyond simply counting years, scientists analyze senescence, the biological decline at the cellular level. For tortoises, their hard shell acts as an armor against aging, reducing injury risks and helping maintain internal stability. Unlike humans, warm-blooded creatures that must generate heat, Galapagos tortoises are cold-blooded. They absorb warmth from the sun, have slower metabolic rates, and produce fewer reactive oxygen species, ROS. ROS are the toxic molecules that damage DNA and accelerate aging. Fewer ROS means less oxidative stress, which extends lifespan. It is a simple but effective mechanism, a biological key that modern laboratories are now studying in hopes of applying it to humans. The most famous symbol was Lonesome George, the last known individual of Chelonoidis abingdoni. When he died in 2012, the world mourned. Yet George's DNA opened a new era of research. Scientists from Yale and the University of Oviedo discovered numerous gene variants linked to DNA repair, immune defense, and cancer suppression. Another study from Buffalo revealed that giant tortoises possess duplicated genes, gene duplication, which strengthen resistance. Their cells are also quick to self-destruct through apoptosis when errors occur, halting cancer at its very roots. The Greenland shark, time's pace in the Arctic. Leaving behind the land of blazing sun, we arrive at a place untouched by light, the icy Arctic. Beneath the cold, dark waters lives a ghost-like being, silent, heavy, and almost immortal. The Greenland shark, a centuries-old wanderer, is the longest living vertebrate known to science. Once, knowledge of them came only from the oil trade in the North Atlantic. They grow slowly, less than half an inch a year, and can reach lengths of more than 20 feet. But their true mystery was solved in 2016. A female shark was determined to be around 4 centuries old. Born when Charles I reigned, matured when George II took the throne, and still alive as bombs fell in World War II. A single life stretched across multiple eras of human history. This age was determined by a chilling method, analyzing proteins in the eye lens. These proteins form before the shark is born and never decay. Julius Nielsen and a team at the University of Copenhagen measured carbon-14 isotopes, placing the age between 272 and more than 500 years. Even at the lowest estimate, the Greenland shark shattered every longevity record. The secret, as with Galapagos tortoises, it all revolves around a slow pace of life. They swim at less than 2 miles per hour, their body temperature wholly dependent on the surrounding sea. A NOAA submersible once observed them at depths of over 2,600 feet, though they can descend to as deep as 7,200 feet. A 2024 study measuring muscle enzyme activity in 23 individuals found something remarkable. Their metabolism remains stable, regardless of age. No degeneration, no decline, just continuity. Leiopathes, the underwater black forest. From the icy Arctic, we move to the deep waters of Hawaii, where it is not sharks or tortoises that reign, but an ancient coral forest that has endured for more than 4,000 years. The black coral Leiopathes anosa doesn't appear black at first glance. On the outside, it glimmers with golden-brown hues, resembling bonsai trees on the seafloor. But its dark skeleton tells a different story. Unlike shallow-water corals that rely on symbiotic algae to convert sunlight, black corals adopt a passive hunting strategy, stretching out their tentacles to catch drifting plankton. That strategy has allowed them to survive hundreds of millions of years of evolution, from the days when trilobites and jawless fish dominated the oceans. Scientists from Stanford and UC Santa Cruz once sampled specimens off Oahu and discovered astonishing lifespans. Some individuals had lived up to 4,265 years. Their growth rate is just 4 microns per year, thinner than a human red blood cell. While the black skeleton thickens over millennia, tiny polyps are continuously replaced, creating a body that is nearly immortal. Living at depths of 1,000 to 1,600 feet shields them from storms and surface turmoil, allowing them to preserve a silent, eternal cycle. And yet, even that record pales before the Antarctic glass sponge, Anoxicalix jubini. Towering like living crystal spires, over 6 feet tall and 5 feet wide, these sponges can live up to 15,000 years. Some models predict lifespans of 23,000, even 40,000 years. Their bodies are built from silica spicules, which serve as both skeletal frame and natural fiber optics. Though they look like plants, they are in fact primitive animals, a bridge between single-celled life and animals with nervous systems. From Galapagos tortoises, Greenland sharks, and black corals to glass sponges, they all share one secret: a slow pace of life, resilient metabolism, and unique defense mechanisms. They not only prove that biological limits can be stretched, but also raise a haunting question. Do their DNAs hold the key to humanity's dream of eternal life? Antarctic glass, sponge, the light-conducting house of the abyss. In the cold, dark waters of Antarctica dwells a creature so still it seems lifeless, yet its longevity defies imagination. The giant glass sponge, Anoxicalix jubini. Standing over 6 feet tall and nearly 5 feet wide, they resemble crystal towers rising from the seabed. Their glass skeleton is composed of countless silica spicules, fused together by the enzyme silicatein, forming a framework so durable it outperforms man-made optical waveguides. Over a decade of observation, many individuals showed virtually no growth at all, evidence of a metabolism slowed to the extreme. It is this incredibly slow pace of life that allows them to reach 15,000 years, with some estimates stretching to 23,000. That lifespan means they could have survived since the last ice age, bearing silent witness to mammoth footprints pressed into frozen steppe. But their wonder goes beyond sheer age. Among their relatives is the Venus's flower basket, Euplectella aspergillum, famous for its dazzling, chandelier-like glass skeleton. When young, a pair of tiny shrimp crawl inside the lattice. As the sponge grows, the silica spicules close, sealing the pair inside a crystalline prison. The two shrimps spend their lives together within, dying side by side, never leaving one another. This symbiosis has made Euplectella a wedding gift in Japan, symbolizing the eternal vow, "Until death do us part." Their silica skeletons are not only strong, but capable of channeling light from bioluminescent organisms, transforming the entire structure into a glowing beacon in the eternal dark. This ability has inspired research in biophotonic fibers and regenerative medicine. Farther afield, in the East China Sea, Monorhaphis chuni grows silica spicules more than 2 meters long, marked with concentric rings that record 11,000 years of climate history. They are like giant climate archives, chronicling ocean temperature shifts across millennia. Glass sponges, from Antarctica to the Pacific, stand as living proof of negligible senescence. With their slow rhythms, resilient syncytial tissues, and indestructible glass frameworks, they have become witnesses to both Earth's climate and evolution. In places where sunlight never reaches, these light-conducting houses still whisper stories of time and biological immortality. TerraSavage, Dorney, the reset button. If tortoises and sharks conquer time by living slowly, true immortality begins on a scale so small it could fit on the tip of your pinky. TerraSavage dornii, a transparent jellyfish less than a quarter-inch across, possesses the ultimate trick, reversing its own life cycle. When exhausted, injured, or suddenly chilled, it retracts into a primitive cyst, then regenerates back into a polyp, producing a new generation of medusae. Not absolute immortality, but an escape from aging, resetting its biological clock again and again. Under the microscope, this is no magic. It is cellular reprogramming. Mature cells directly change their identity. A muscle cell can transform into a nerve cell, a process called transdifferentiation. During the cyst stage, the cellular machinery activates DNA repair programs, cleans up damaged proteins, reorganizes chromatin, and switches on genetic regulators of telomeres and stress response proteins. It is like a full-service maintenance station. The result? Not simply prolonging old age, but proactive rejuvenation. Micro-hook. If humans could reset this neatly, the anti-aging cosmetics industry would surely collapse. While TerraSavage waits for crisis to press its reset button, the freshwater hydra, slender, less than an inch long, chooses never to age in the first place. Hydra's secret is a constant river of stem cells flowing along its body. 3 types of cells divide continuously, renewing tissue daily like an endless factory line. In laboratory conditions, their mortality rate does not increase with age, a textbook case of negligible senescence. The molecular referee here is FOXO, an ancient evolutionary switch that governs stem cell renewal, stress protection, and immune stability. When FOXO is active, Hydra is like fresh grass. Cut it down and it grows back. Wear it out and it replenishes. Placed side by side, we see 2 immortal pathways: event-based, regeneration when needed, and foundational, staying young through constant renewal. One rewinds its life cycle, the other locks in youth. Both strike at the very core of aging, the accumulation of damage and the loss of cellular identity. For humans, they hint at 3 avenues: direct reprogramming to heal damaged tissues, strengthening genomic maintenance, and tuning FOXO to extend health span. From a jelly drop, the size of a raindrop, to a fragile Hydra thread, nature shows us that immortality is not simply about adding years, but about reorganizing oneself, sometimes returning to the start line, sometimes replacing brick by brick, so that the body remains young enough each day to go on living. Hydra, the fountain of stem cells. If the immortal jellyfish waits for a shock to reset its life cycle, Hydra takes a more radical path. It never ages in the first place, barely the size of a fingertip. With a simple cylindrical body, Hydra clings to leaves or rocks in freshwater ponds, quietly running a continuous rejuvenation factory. Micro-hook. You need serum. Hydra just needs to bud. Hydra's body plan is diploblastic. Ectoderm on the outside, endoderm inside, separated by a gel-like mesoglea. The wonder lies in 3 streams of stem cells coursing along its body column: ectodermal, endodermal, and multipotent interstitial stem cells, ISCs. ISCs can transform into nerve cells, gland cells, or stinging cells for prey capture. Cells move like on a conveyor belt, newly born in the middle, gradually pushing older cells toward the mouth and base. As a result, Hydra's entire tissue is constantly renewed, keeping it forever young. The central molecular switch is FOXO. When FOXO is active, stem cells maintain their proliferative power, and the immune system remains stable. When it shuts down, both systems weaken, mirroring aging in higher animals. Thus, FOXO becomes an evolutionary key, also found highly active in humans who live past a century. In addition, the WNT signaling pathway acts as the blueprint for Hydra's whole-body regeneration. Within just a few dozen hours after being cut, WNT reestablishes the body axis and reopens developmental programs. Another unique feature, Hydra stem cells often pause in the G2 phase, ready to divide instantly when triggered. Meanwhile, the body enhances autophagy to clear damaged proteins. This ensures proteostasis remains stable, preventing molecular waste from accumulating. Hydra's regeneration strategy is called morphollaxis, mainly rearranging existing tissue with extra-cell proliferation when needed. A smart house renovation, moving walls while pouring new concrete. Long-term studies confirm mortality rates do not increase with age, and budding reproduction remains consistent. Hydra has become the emblem of negligible senescence, standing in contrast to most other organisms. Compared to flatworms like planaria, which regenerate through blastema, Hydra has chosen the path of continuous maintenance. No miracles, only smart design. Keep stem cell flows active, maintain immune balance, and trigger signals at the right time. Hydra reminds us that to resist time, the secret is not to run faster, but to maintain ourselves every single day. Arctica Islandica, the living chronicle. While the jellyfish presses rewind and Hydra constantly renews, Arctica Islandica has chosen a different strategy, living so slowly that aging is nearly negligible. Beneath its round shell coated with a brittle brown layer, this seemingly ordinary clam is a master of energy thrift, slow respiration, low metabolism, minimal free radical production. If age is a storm, it shelters in a metabolic bunker. Born in the cold waters of the North Atlantic, from Labrador to Iceland and across to Europe, the ocean quahog buries itself in sandy mud at moderate depths. At the southern edges of its range, where waters are warmer, it descends deeper to remain within its golden zone of 6 to 16 degrees Celsius. By spending no energy on movement or thermoregulation, it invests instead in cellular upkeep. Antioxidant enzymes, especially superoxide dismutase, hold protein and lipid damage at bay for centuries. The most famous individual is Ming, 411 years old, born during the height of China's Ming dynasty. Its age was determined by sclerochronology, reading shell growth lines like tree rings, each marking a winter endured. The clam's shell thus becomes a portable climate archive, allowing scientists to reconstruct bottom water temperatures and oscillations such as the AMO and NAO. What makes this species nearly biologically immortal is that mortality risk does not significantly increase with age. After a few decades of growth, the body shifts into a long-term steady state, slow metabolism, resilient maintenance, minimal DNA damage. No need for regeneration or life cycle reversal, just the discipline of never rushing. Yet longevity has its price. Extremely late maturity taking 2 to 4 decades, which makes the species vulnerable to overfishing and climate shifts. In the south, warming waters first spur growth, but once the golden zone is exceeded, the shell bands thin, then break. The quahog's path to immortality is not a miracle, but minimalist living. Conserve energy, repair diligently, record consistently. From Ming to countless anonymous shells buried under cold sand, each individual is a black box of time, proof that to outlast age, the secret is not to move faster, but to slow down the right way. From the beginning, we asked, can humans ever be immortal as dreamed for millennia? After journeying with creatures that defy time, from Galapagos tortoises, Greenland sharks, black corals, glass sponges, and immortal jellyfish Turritopsis, to the Icelandic quahog, the answer grows clearer. Nature shows us that immortality is not merely living forever, but knowing how to live slowly, repair oneself, or renew from within. Perhaps humans will never achieve absolute immortality, but we can learn to extend our health span, not to flee from death, but to live more fully each day. So, what do you think? Which natural secret, slowing down, endless regeneration, or resetting the life cycle, is the closest path for humans to touch the dream of immortality? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you'd like to keep exploring nature's wonders, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to journey with our channel.